With the innate agility and dexterity of her primate kind, Lily found it no great challenge to conquer the tall kitchen counters. She nimbly scampered from the tabletop to a chair back, and from there, with another deft leap, she was on the counter beginning her exploration. Lily's bright, intelligent eyes landed on a rather large container of flour, perhaps one Dad had recently used for baking and hadn't put away securely. A mischievous thought, an irresistible curiosity suddenly flashed in Lily's mind. She used all the strength in her tiny hands, trying to grasp the edge of the container, then pulled it firmly towards herself. Thump! Not a very loud sound, but enough to signal an impending disaster. The container tilted, and like a cascading white waterfall, fine, fragrant flour poured out, blanketing the kitchen countertop, then scattering and drifting down onto the tiled floor. Lily, instead of showing any fear or confusion, seemed utterly delighted by this unexpected and somewhat chaotic scene. She was like a child discovering a new and fascinating playground. Not stopping there after thoroughly enjoying herself frolicking and playing in the sea of flour, Lily discovered a novel and incredibly exciting mode of transportation, the small skateboard that Dad usually kept in a corner of the house. The fun with flour and the skateboard still didn't seem to completely satisfy Lily. She continued her impromptu exploration, and this time, her field of operation was Dad's soft, inviting bed. Lily skillfully climbed onto the bed, where she found a soft and warm pink fleece blanket that she loved. With a mysterious, playful intention of hide-and-seek, Lily delightedly burrowed under the blanket, curling up into a little ball, leaving only her sparkling black eyes peeking out. Not content with this simple base, Lily then had the idea of moving her fortress to a more secluded location. She used all her strength trying to drag the entire pink blanket with her, slowly moving towards a large lemon-yellow wardrobe located in the corner of the room. Eventually, Lily succeeded in dragging the blanket inside the wardrobe, transforming it into a perfect secret fortress, perhaps in preparation for a dramatic and surprising game of hide-and-seek with Dad when he returned. Just at that moment, after an outing on his scooter, perhaps having just ridden through a sudden summer downpour, as his clothes were still slightly damp, Dad returned home. As soon as he stepped through the door, he couldn't help but be stunned, even frozen for a few seconds, by the horrifying scene that unfolded before his eyes. The kitchen, which he always kept clean and tidy, was now a landscape of white flour from the countertops and shelves to the floor. Not only that, but the living room floor and the hallway were also streaked with the telltale tracks of skateboard wheels, drawn with the same white powder. Dad let out a soft sigh, but then a smile partly resigned, but also full of affection, appeared on his lips as he realized the culprit behind this unbelievable mess could be none other than his mischievous, hyperactive little monkey daughter. Dad carefully followed the white trail from the kitchen, out to the living room, and then into the bedroom where the flory tracks ended right in front of the yellow wardrobe.
Sao có bột đến này? Là cái gì vậy? Cái gì vậy trời? Lily! Cha đi này. Trời ơi, bậy hết rồi. Trời, Lily! Ăn ở đây. Lily! Trời ơi, làm gì đây? Hả? Đi đây các bạn, đi đây.
Dad gently approached the wardrobe, softly calling Lily's name. There was no answer, only a suspicious silence. Dad slowly opened the wardrobe door, and the sight that greeted him made him both want to laugh and feel a surge of tenderness. A pink blanket was stirring slightly in the corner of the wardrobe. Dad reached in, gently pulled the blanket away, and there she was, the super rascal.
Chân này sao sạch
Lily
đây?
curled up inside her fur, still liberally
sạch đây?
dusted with
Hả?
white
Cái chân
powder,
này, cái chân
her
này.
round eyes looking
Đấy.
up at Dad with a slightly guilty
chân quậy đấy,
but
chưa?
undeniably mischievous expression.
Chân quậy đấy.
Dad didn't scold her at all, just gently lifted
vào xem
Lily
nào,
out of
đây.
the wardrobe,
Đây vào xem nào.
perhaps silently telling himself that cleaning
bẩn
up
hết
this
chưa?
battlefield would be
Chân,
quite a
chân.
task.
Lau hết
But
ở đây,
seeing
đúng không?
Lily's innocent face,
Lau hết
any
sạch
budding
này.
frustration, if there was any,
Thôi đi
simply
nhá, đi
melted
ra ngoài làm
away.
bánh đi nhá. Đi ra ngoài làm bánh cho Ly nhá. Thấy chưa? Trời, cái sen. Trời ơi.
The first and most urgent thing to do after the flower disaster was to give Lily a thorough bath. Lily's fur had completely turned white from the flour, and if not cleaned immediately, it could cause her discomfort. Dad carried Lily to the bathroom, carefully ran warm water into Lily's familiar
Rồi
bathtub.
đi đi.
He gently placed Lily in the tub, then slowly used the shower head to wet her fur, washing away the thick layer of flour. The flour, when wet, became sticky and matted, making the bathing process a bit more challenging. Dad had to use a special gentle shampoo, lathering it all over Lily's body, then rubbing carefully to remove all the flour and dirt. Lily, perhaps sensing she had caused a major incident, was very well behaved this time, sitting still for Dad to bathe her, occasionally rubbing her little foamy head against Dad's hand in a nuzzling, affectionate way. After being thoroughly cleaned and smelling fresh with the gentle scent of baby shampoo, Lily was wrapped by Dad in a large soft cotton towel, then carefully dried. Not yet finished, Dad then used a hairdryer set on a warm, gentle setting to slowly dry Lily's fur, completely preventing her from catching a cold.
Giữ chân đây con, giữ chân này, giữ tay này. Làm cái gì nhá. Đó, thích không? Đừng quên ngủ luôn nhé. Rồi, nằm thả xuống. Rồi, Lý đứng lên nào. Đứng lên, đấy nào. Trời ơi, sao ăn thì bảo bố nhá, thấy chưa? Làm bánh đi ăn nhé, thấy chưa? Có sữa đổ về ăn lấy uống. Cái cây kìa, lấy mà ăn chứ. Nhé. Bây giờ dọn nhé. Thấy con bày không này, đây này, thấy chưa? Sữa là để tủ lạnh mà. Cái cây máu mà. Nó để ăn chứ. Thích con bánh hả? Thích con bánh hả? Thôi bây giờ đi dọn nhé, dọn xong làm bánh cho Linh ha. Đi. Nè. Đây, đây, đây. Đây, đi đây, nè. Đấy, lau đi.
After Lily was clean and fragrant, like a little cotton ball, Dad began the task of cleaning up the flowery battlefield in the house. And surprisingly, Lily, after her bath, and perhaps having realized her mistake, was also very cooperative and wanted to atone for her wrongdoing. She found a small cleaning cloth, then also imitated Dad, diligently wiping back and forth at the remaining flour stains on the floor and kitchen counter. Although Lily's help might not have been very effective, and sometimes her clumsy movements even made the flour dust fly around a bit more, her responsible spirit and desire to contribute warmed Dad's heart immensely. Dad cleaned while gently guiding Lily, turning the arduous task into a fun, interactive activity between father and daughter.
Ok đúng không? Bây giờ mình làm bánh nha. Làm rồi đây. Đây. Đây, mình làm nha. Đúng rồi, mình trở ra ha.
When everything in the house had been tidied up and was clean again to celebrate the return of order, and also to reward Lily's good behavior, albeit a bit belatedly, and her cooperative spirit, Dad decided they would bake a delicious cake together. Father and daughter jointly prepared the necessary ingredients flour this time used for its intended purpose, and under Dad's close supervision, a few fresh chicken eggs, some milk and white sugar. Lily was extremely excited and thrilled to participate in mixing the batter. Dad even let her try holding the whisk, her tiny hands gripping it, as she enthusiastically stirred under Dad's guidance, though perhaps most of the actual work was still done by him. After the batter was mixed evenly and smoothly, Dad poured it into a carefully greased baking pan, and then together with Lily, placed the pan into the preheated oven.
Này, đi đặt này. Thôi đi làm giúp ba nha, đi nhào nhào nha. Xuống đó. Đây, đẩy này, đẩy ha. Để lấy cái lăn. Giỏi quá, đi giỏi quá, trời ơi, đi giỏi quá, đây, 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 đúng rồi, đi giỏi quá, rồi còn nhấc lên, cầm này nhấc lên cho ba, rồi đi đẩy đi, đúng rồi, đẩy, đấy, rồi nhấc lên, nhấc lên nào, đúng, nhấc lên nha, để im nha, rồi đẩy, rồi nhấc lên, cầm đây cho bạn. Đó. Đó, thấy chưa? Đây bày nha. Đây ha. Xong mở kia đi. Mở kia đi. Này đi. Bỏ căng đi con. Rồi đóng lại, đóng. Rồi. Này. Rồi đóng lại con. Đây đi rồi nha. Xong 20 phút nha. Ok, rồi đi. Đi dọn dẹp phòng nhé. Nha. Tối ra không ngủ nhé. Không bẩn này thấy không? Bây giờ đi dọn phòng luôn nha. Dọn đồ ăn sạch nhé. Xem Ly xả ha. Dọn thấy không? Thấy chưa? Đấy con, đúng rồi. Đây. Giặt nha. Rồi đóng lại nè, nhé, đóng lại nè. Có tôm.
While waiting for the cake to bake, a sweet, enticing aroma began to slowly fill the entire house, a pleasant and warm scent that dispelled all tiredness and even the lingering traces of the morning's flour battle. Finally, after a period of eager anticipation, the cake was ready. Golden brown, perfectly risen, and looking absolutely delicious. Dad carefully took the cake out of the oven, let it cool slightly, then cut a small, suitable piece for Lily. Lily happily accepted the sweet reward of their joint labor. She sat at her familiar little table and slowly, delightedly savored each bite of the fragrant, soft cake. The sweetness of the cake, combined with the joy of having worked alongside Dad, and perhaps a touch of pride in her contributions, was probably the most wonderful taste in the world for Lily at that moment. Dad also sat beside her, nibbling on his own piece of cake, smiling as he watched Lily eat with such relish. A day for Lily and Dad thus passed filled with earth-shattering mischief, but also overflowing with laughter, small lessons in responsibility and tidiness, Dad's boundless patience, and ultimately the sweet joy of sharing and cooperation. Although there were moments of mayhem that made Dad both want to laugh and cry, after everything, the love and sacred bond between father and daughter only only grew stronger, and memories like these would surely be recounted forever with fond, warm smiles.
Ngon quá. Ăn chậm thôi. Ngon nhỉ. Gì này? Lên nữa thôi. Lấy nhờ lấy nha, bà hấp cho đi ăn nhé.
One early morning, as pristine dewdrops still clung glistening to every blade of grass, and the fresh air carried the invigorating scent of the earth, little monkey, Lily had already begun a new day, brimming with energy and her own important tasks. The family's lush green garden, with its variety of fruit trees and seasonal vegetables, served as the first stage for Lily's enthusiastic activities. With the innate agility of her primate kind, she nimbly climbed the ancient fruit trees in the garden. Her small but strong hands gripped the branches, her flexible feet helping her move from one bough to another with the grace and lightness of a dancer performing amidst the foliage.
Rồi, cảm ơn Ly nhé. Ui, giỏi quá. Để cái lá bắt lấy cái đầu Ly này. Ôi, dính lá đầu này. Lấy nữa đi con, lấy nữa đi. Rồi, đúng rồi Ly ơi. Đấy, lấy cái đó đi Ly. Lấy đi con, mang đây nhá. Lấy đi.
Lily delighted in the feeling of being high up observing the garden from a different perspective, feeling the gentle morning breeze caress her soft fur. Occasionally, she would pause perching precariously on a sturdy branch, her big round dark eyes curiously observing everything around her. A bird, flitting from branch to branch, singing its cheerful song, or a colorful butterfly fluttering lazily by. But Lily's joy wasn't limited to just climbing and sightseeing. Today, she had a more significant mission to harvest vegetables assisting Dad. With a charming little woven basket that Dad had prepared, Lily carefully descended to the ground, then began her hunt. She navigated between the lush green rows of vegetables, her sharp eyes searching for the first spoils. There they were, ripe, juicy tomatoes, red as little lanterns hiding under the leaves. Lily gently picked each one, carefully placing it in her basket. Then she moved on to the cucumber patch, where young green, slender cucumbers still covered in a fine white bloom were stretching towards the sun.
Để bóc nhé, đúng rồi. Bỏ xuống. Lấy đi. Mang đây, mang đây. Mang đây đi.
Lily also didn't overlook the fresh, tender lettuce heads of vibrant green or the small, bright orange carrots, still faintly dusted with moist earth. Each time she found a desirable vegetable, Lily would let out soft, joyful cheep-cheep sounds, then carefully add it to her basket. Before long, the small basket was overflowing with the first fruits of her labor for the day.
Vậy được rồi nhé Ly nhé, mình tiếp nhé. Rồi, con làm mấy rau này Ly này, đây này, đây ha. Làm tí tàu nhé. Cho cải Julian nhé. Được không? Kéo qua đây. Kia, bỏ xuống đi con, lấy kia kìa. Đây Ly. Chỉ Ly này, cầm đây này. Cầm mình hái rau đây nhá. Đây là chỉ Ly hái rau nhá. Đó, được. Đúng rồi, giỏi quá. Thấy chưa? Hái rau mình hái như vậy nhá. Nhiều cả cây luôn ha. Kìa, cây kia kìa. Hái đi con. Đúng rồi, mang qua đây. Đúng rồi, đây cho ba nào. Lấy nữa đi. Mang đây. Mang cho ba nào. Đúng rồi, giỏi lắm. Rồi đi nào Ly ơi. Chị thôi. Đây. Đi nè. Đây ba nữa. Ui dồi, mày à. Đi nè. Đi nè. Đi. Đi nè. Rồi, cho ba đi nữa nhé. À, cái gì lên? Ui, giận con. Đây cho ba nè, bỏ đây nè. Bỏ cái rau đây. Bỏ đây. Ừ, con ngồi đi chờ đi. Ngồi đi chờ ba. Đây, ngồi đây này. Đây đi. Ngồi đi chờ nhé. Bỏ đi. Này đi, cầm đấy. Bỏ thế, bỏ kia đó. Thế thôi nha. Ừ. Đi, về ha.
After her basket was heavy with fresh, delicious produce from the family garden, Lily, with the proud air of a little farmer who had just had a bountiful harvest, somewhat strenuously carried her overflowing basket of spoils into the house. The next destination for this diligent cook was the cozy kitchen where these ingredients would be prepped for delicious meals. Here, Lily immediately set to work. She carefully emptied all the vegetables from her basket into a larger plastic colander. Then she carried the colander to the sink, mimicking the actions she often saw Dad perform daily. Lily turned on the tap, letting the cool, fresh water flow, then used her tiny hands to gently wash each type of vegetable. The tomatoes were rolled around under the running water, the cucumbers were scrubbed thoroughly, and even the lettuce heads were carefully separated, leaf by leaf, and rinsed by her. Though a little water might have splashed around and perhaps a few vegetable leaves got slightly bruised from her uneven pressure, Lily's effort and serious expression while working were truly endearing. Among the items Lily brought in there was also a bright yellow, juicy orange. After dealing with the vegetables, Lily turned her attention to processing the orange. With her nimble and somewhat forceful little hands, she began the task of peeling it. The thick orange rind containing fragrant essential oils was gradually peeled away by Lily, revealing the glistening, juicy, golden orange segments within. Then, she meticulously, patiently separated each segment, carefully removing the white pith, and neatly arranged the sweet, luscious orange pieces in a pretty little porcelain bowl. When the task of preparing the food with the washed vegetables and the peeled orange segments was temporarily complete, Lily carried her culinary achievements to her charming little dining table, specially designed to fit her small stature. This table was Lily's private space where she usually enjoyed her meals. Lily carefully placed the plate of fresh green vegetables and the bowl of golden orange segments on the table, then ran off to fetch another small plate, arranging everything neatly. It appeared as though she was preparing for a sumptuous meal, a farm-to-table feast, prepared by her own hands from harvesting to prepping. Lily's demeanor at this moment was very much like that of a little hostess, personally taking care of everything.
Nhỏ để ăn nhé, bỏ đây con. Đúng rồi, đây. Không bỏ đây này. Đúng rồi. Không vào đây này. Được không? Bỏ đây này. nha.
However, while Dad was perhaps busy with another task in a different room, or maybe Lily felt her meal was still missing something, she embarked on a small exploratory mission to the family's large refrigerator. With her cleverness and good memory, Lily knew that the refrigerator always held many enticing snacks. She stood on her tiptoes, using all her strength to pull open the fridge door, then peered inside. Lily's eyes landed on a yogurt cup or some other snack that she really liked. But then, an unexpected little accident occurred. While trying to reach for the food item, which was a bit deep inside, Lily inadvertently tilted and spilled a little of the liquid food or some crumbs onto the floor. Realizing the accident she had just caused, and perhaps worried that Dad would find out and be unhappy, Lily appeared a bit flustered and panicked. But very quickly, and with surprising awareness and responsibility, she immediately sought to rectify the consequence herself. Lily hurriedly found a cleaning cloth nearby, then sat down and diligently tried to wipe up the scene of the crime as quickly as possible before Dad walked in and saw it. Though she was a bit clumsy, and her movements were somewhat awkward, Lily's initiative and effort were truly commendable.
Đi làm gì đấy?
Dad.
Đi làm gì đấy? Đi làm gì đây? Sao làm đổ cái này? Cái này ba mua làm cho Ly ăn mà. Ba nấu đổ cho Ly ăn đấy, nhớ chưa? Không muốn ăn hả? Muốn ăn này hả? Cái này ba mua làm cho Ly ăn mà. Ba đi nhặt vào đi. Này này, nhặt vào đi con. Bỏ đây. Đúng rồi, bỏ đây. Bỏ đây. Đúng rồi, bỏ cho đi. À, giỏi lắm. Đây này. Thấy chưa? Thấy chưa? Xem còn rớt đâu nè, kìa kìa. Kia còn cái này kìa. Kìa. Đấy đấy đấy, đúng rồi. Vào đây con. Kia đi kìa. Kia kìa.
Just at that moment, Dad walked into the kitchen carrying even more fresh vegetables in his hands. It seemed that today, the family would have a special and bountiful meal. And Dad had a very unique and creative idea for this meal, to prepare and cook the food right inside a large pumpkin that had its pulp hollowed out. Lily, after having cleaned up her little mess, was extremely excited and thrilled to assist Dad in making this special dish. She toddled back and forth, sometimes handing Dad a carrot, other times passing him some green beans. Then she would stand curiously beside him, her round eyes observing Dad, skillfully chopping vegetables, dicing meat if any, and then marinating the ingredients. Afterwards, all the carefully prepped ingredients were placed by Dad inside the unique pumpkin pot. Perhaps Dad even added a little broth or some special spices to make the dish even more flavorful.
Muốn xem hả? Muốn xem cho kỹ hả? Đấy cái thìa nhá. Đấy, Ly thích ăn cái nào đi, bỏ vào nhiều vào đó nhá. Mang qua đây ra. Bỏ đây. Rồi, nó cùng lên. Cái chờ đi, chờ nhé. Rồi, Chí vào đây cho Ly ăn nhé. Đây hả? rồi. Rồi Ly, rồi Ly.
After a period of steaming or baking in the oven, the pumpkin meal was finally ready, exuding an incredibly captivating and distinctive aroma. Dad carefully brought the pumpkin pot, still steaming and piping hot, to Lily's little table. Lily delightedly looked at the colorful and immensely appealing dish presented before her. The pumpkin shell itself had softened, and the vegetable filling inside was thoroughly cooked and had absorbed all the delicious flavors. She was given a small fork by Dad, the kind designed for children. Then Lily, with some skill, scooped up small bites of the food from within the pumpkin shell, slowly bringing them to her mouth to savor. The sweet, nutty flavor of the pumpkin blended with the freshness of the various vegetables, and perhaps the richness of meat, if any, creating an exceptionally special and unforgettable taste. Lily ate with relish, her face full of contentment.
Nóng quá. Tự nhiên.
Not stopping at indoor activities, after her satisfying and delicious meal, Lily had more exciting adventures outdoors. She strolled around the yard, delightedly interacting with a flock of hens that were leisurely pecking for food in the courtyard. Lily curiously approached them, watching the chickens with their colorful plumage, then giggled when they scurried away from her. Afterwards, Lily ventured into an area that looked like a small warehouse or an older barn-like structure. Here, a new discovery awaited her. Lily found some nests made of straw, and inside them were fresh white and light brown round chicken eggs. With the small basket she often carried with her, Lily carefully picked up each egg one by one, gently placing it in her basket. She looked no different from a diligent, resourceful country girl harvesting the fruits of her family's labor.
Đi xem đi. Đi xem đi. Xem gà đi. Để đồ gà nhé. Nhé. Gà tao không đi nữa đi. Đó, đi vào ăn cho gà đi con. Rồi. Lên lấy đi. Rồi, ra con đây đi. Gà nhé. Túc 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 túc. Cầm chắc đây con, cầm chắc đây. Túc 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 túc. Đấy, thấy chưa? Thấy chưa? Đấy. Thấy không? Đó. Cầm cao lên con, cầm cao lên.
Finally, the fresh, delicious chicken eggs that Lily had just collected were brought into the kitchen by Dad to be prepared into a nutritious meal. While Dad was busy in the kitchen, perhaps making fragrant fried eggs or creamy scrambled eggs, Lily waited patiently in her familiar beanbag chair, a soft and comfortable spot she loved. Lily's eyes occasionally glanced towards the kitchen, perhaps imagining the egg dish she was about to enjoy. And then, not disappointing Lily's anticipation, the egg dish was ready. Dad brought out a plate of hot, fragrant eggs. She was once again seated at her little table and slowly, delightedly savored the nutritious egg dish, a reward from her very own foraging trip. A day for Lily thus passed, filled with a myriad of activities, from gardening to kitchen work, from self-harvesting vegetables, preparing food, to exploring assisting Dad in cooking special dishes, and even collecting chicken eggs from the farm. Every task, whether small or a bit challenging, showcased the cleverness, eagerness to learn, and desire to participate and contribute to daily life of this lovable and incredibly intelligent little monkey. And above all, it was Dad's love, patience, and tireless companionship that created a wonderful environment for Lily to freely explore, learn, and develop.
Đây, xong rồi đi ơi. Cái ghế ngồi đi con. Đâu ghế nào, ghế nào. Yeah. Đi.
One pristine early morning, when the air was still crystal clear and cool, carrying the pure breath of the earth and sky, little monkey Lily, after awakening, and perhaps having had some small, playful moments, some lazy stretches in her warm bed, was gently brought by Dad to her familiar little table. This was where the exciting activities of a new day often began, where Lily felt Dad's meticulous care. Here she was prepared by Dad in a new outfit to start the day neatly, tidily, and utterly adorably. Dad gently dressed Lily in a soft t-shirt, perhaps in a bright, cheerful color, like the morning sun, then a pair of comfortable shorts, notably to add a touch of charm, and also perhaps to shield her from the somewhat harsh summer sun. For their upcoming outing, a small, pretty hat, maybe a baseball cap with a cute motif or a soft fabric hat with a brim, was carefully placed on Lily's small, pretty head by Dad. He even skillfully adjusted the strap for a perfect fit. Lily seemed very cooperative throughout this beautification process. She obediently lifted her arms and legs for Dad to dress her, occasionally looking up at him with her big, round, dark eyes, a clear, trusting gaze, as if she was very eager and completely ready for the wonderful adventures that lay ahead with her greatest companion. After being all spruced up, looking neat, adorable, and quite stylish, Dad and Lily went out of the house together. They walked hand in hand, or Dad carried Lily along the familiar village path, winding and meandering. On both sides of the path were rows of green trees, their leaves rustling in the early morning breeze like a welcoming committee waving to father and daughter. Sunlight filtered through the leaves, creating shimmering dancing patterns on the path. Lily was visibly thrilled with the fresh, clear air and the peaceful, rustic scenery of the morning. Her bright, intelligent eyes constantly darted back and forth, curiously observing everything around her with a boundless inquisitiveness. There were birds flitting from branch to branch, singing their cheerful morning melodies. Here were butterflies of various colors, from brilliant yellow to gentle sapphire blue, fluttering gracefully over the lush green canopies, like tiny dancers performing nature's ballet. And there were also the gentle, hard-working local people, beginning a new day's work with familiar tools slung over their shoulders, occasionally pausing to smile kindly when they saw Lily and Dad pass by. Every sound, every image, every scent of the grass, trees, and flowers was a new and captivating discovery for Lily's young and eager mind. Their first destination on this promising outing was the family's lush, fertile garden, a vibrant space teeming with life where all sorts of fresh vegetables and fruits were in season for harvesting. Today, Lily had an important and meaningful task, an opportunity for her to showcase her diligence to help Dad harvest vegetables. First, she followed Dad to the verdant trellises of long beans, where clusters of long, slender, milky green pods hung heavily under the leaves. Lily proved to be very skillful and seemed to have a natural knack for this farm work. She carefully observed Dad as he demonstrated, watching how he gently selected the beans that were just right then, used his fingers to lightly snap the stem. Afterwards, Lily also imitated him, using her tiny but nimble and careful hands to select the young, tender green beans, avoiding any that were old or insect-bitten. Once she had chosen one, she gently used her 2 fingers to snap the stem, detaching it from the vine, then carefully placed it into the woven bamboo basket Dad was holding. Occasionally, Lily would pick a particularly large and beautiful bean. She would squeal with delight and proudly show off her trophy to Dad, awaiting a word of praise.
Để đi. Vậy là ít đi nhỉ? Cất thêm ít này cho bé ăn đấy đi nhá. Nhá. Con ngồi đây ha, ngồi đây nhá. Đừng mất này. Này đấy đi. Ăn không? Thế thì bây giờ cái cuối cùng này, mở đây này, mở vô, mở đây.
After harvesting a basket full of fresh, delicious long beans, father and daughter moved to another section of the garden where rows of leafy green vegetables grew lush and abundant. The leafy greens were a vibrant, oily green, their leaves large, thick, and tender, looking incredibly appetizing and promising a nutritious meal. Lily was also very active and enthusiastic in helping Dad with this task. She bent down, using both her small hands to grasp the base of a leafy green plant, then used a bit of strength to try and pull it up from the ground. Although it was sometimes a bit of a struggle with plants that had strong, deep roots with persistence and a little guidance from Dad, like how to position her hands correctly and how to use her strength effectively, Lily also managed to harvest quite a few fresh leafy greens. Each time she successfully pulled up a plant, Lily would happily place it in the basket, feeling as if she had just completed a very important mission.
Nha. Nè, vào đây nè. Ra đây ký cái cánh rồi. Đây ký cái cánh rồi. Ra đây ngồi đi. Ký cái cánh nhá. Được chưa? Nó mặt đi tới để mang về nhé. Rồi đừng nhổ cái này lên chứ con, không được nhổ đâu nhé. Anh muốn mình ăn quả. Cầm này, cầm này nhé. Mỗi người một bó nhé, nha. Ok, đi nào. Ơi, đi thẳng con, đi thẳng. Lily đi về thôi Lily. Các bạn này. Đi ra ba nào. Ở đây nhé, ở đây chờ nhé. Rồi để bác cắt đi cho nha. Đây ngồi đi, ngồi chơi này. Rau nhé. Này, chỉ đi vào rau nhé. Đây đây, ngồi này. Này, ở đây ra con, ở đây ra. Đấy, cắt. Đúng rồi, bỏ xuống đây. Bỏ xuống. Này, cầm đây này. Kéo. Kéo. Đúng rồi, bỏ xuống. Kéo. Ui dồi ôi, chặt là kéo nha. Rồi, bây giờ cái này ba để ba rửa xong rồi tối nấu canh nhá. Bây giờ ba đục đầu cái ly nhá. Nha. Ok chưa? Rồi đi ra ghế ngồi đi con.
After a morning of enthusiastic and productive labor in the garden, their reward was a basket overflowing with fresh, delicious vegetables, carrying the scent of the earth and the effort of father and daughter. Dad, Lily, and even a snow-white, adorable little goat, perhaps a special friend, an indispensable member of their small family farm, all sat down together to rest in the cool shade of a large tree in the garden. And how delightful it was that as a reward for her hard work, Lily was specially allowed by Dad to enjoy right on the spot the fresh, crisp, sweet long beans that she had helped harvest. Dad selected the youngest beans, snapped them in half, and gave them to Lily. Lily took the beans with both hands, took a bite, then chewed with relish and leisure. The natural, refreshing sweetness and crispness of the clean vegetables seemed to make her incredibly satisfied and content. Her eyes shone, and she smacked her lips with delight. The little goat standing nearby was also given some fresh green leaves by Dad creating a truly peaceful rustic scene close to nature, where humans and animals shared simple joys together.
Chị ăn của Ly nhé. Đây, của Ly đây này. Không được, không được, không được. Không được nhá. Không được như vậy nhá. Nào, nằm xuống nào. Nằm xuống nào, nằm xuống. Nằm. Giỏi. Đúng rồi. Ngon Ly. Anh nhanh lên chơi ăn hết bây giờ. Lên nhanh lắm, thấy không?
Returning home after the activities in the garden, Lily had another enticing discovery awaiting her in the family's familiar refrigerator. She skillfully opened the fridge door herself, her bright eyes searching. And then her target was quickly identified, a bright red dragon fruit, looking very appealing and inviting. Lily delightedly hugged the dragon fruit, a fruit she seemed to love very much with its sweet, cool flesh and a fun scattering of tiny black seeds. She eagerly carried the dragon fruit to her little table and began the process of enjoying it. The sweet, refreshing taste of the juicy dragon fruit pieces captivated Lily. But it was precisely because of this fondness and perhaps a somewhat ecstatic, but uncontrolled way of eating that she inadvertently caused the characteristic bright red juice of the dragon fruit to spill all over the table and even onto the floor. The drops of fruit juice created colorful, abstract splotches looking like a rather eye-catching and somewhat messy artwork. Lily, after having eaten her fill, looked down at the scene she had created, perhaps also realizing that something was amiss.
Áo bẩn hết rồi này. Thôi mình đi tắm nhé. Và giờ đi tắm nhé. Đi tắm đi con. Đi. Đi nào. Ôi trời, thế là đi đây nè. Nè, thấy chưa? Nè. Đổ hết cái nhà này thấy chưa? Thấy không? Đi tắm xong rồi dọn này nhé. Hay sao? Mình lau xong đi tắm nhé. Đi, đến đây bạn trở đây thăm nhé. Đây đi. Đâu, sợ chưa? Ly cũng sợ đúng không? Tao cũng sợ chứ. Nè. Đó, con lau con đi nhé. Nè.
Dad saw the masterpiece Lily had just created after her dragon fruit feast. He didn't scold or show any annoyance at all, but just smiled gently. Perhaps he was already quite used to his daughter's mischievous antics and little incidents. Then Dad patiently took a clean cloth and began to teach Lily how to clean up the mess she had made herself. Dad demonstrated, first showing Lily how to hold the cloth and how to wipe effectively. Lily was also very cooperative. She watched Dad attentively, then took the cloth and, imitating him, tried to wipe away the dragon fruit juice stains on the floor. Although her movements were still a bit clumsy, and perhaps the stains weren't wiped completely clean immediately, this was truly a practical and immensely beneficial lesson about neatness and responsibility for Lily. Dad stood by occasionally, offering gentle guidance, his heart pleased by her progress.
Sạch chưa? Rồi, con giỏi lắm. Được rồi, xong rồi, ba xong rồi này. Đúng rồi, sạch lắm rồi. Nha. Rồi, cất khăn đi con. Rồi, đi khăn cho ba. Lily ơi, giỏi lắm. Đây ba nè. Nè, tay cái nè, giỏi lắm không? Đi nè, có thay đổi Lily nhé. Đi. 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 Đi qua đây kìa. Thấy không? Cái áo con này, bẩn hết rồi nè. Bây giờ ba lấy áo mới cho con nhé. Nè, lấy áo sạch nè, thấy không? Rồi, con cầm lấy. Để ba lau tay cho con nhé. Lily nhé. Này, đúng rồi. Cái mặt dơ nè, lau cái mặt dơ nè. Đây nữa. Rồi. Để hai cái ly. Thích nha, thích nha.
Finally, after a long day filled with numerous activities, from being a diligent farmer in the garden, enthusiastically harvesting vegetables, to savoring the fresh spoils she had helped gather, and then learning to clean up after making a mess, Lily seemed to be thoroughly tired. Her clothes were also a bit stained after her playful antics. Dad gently changed Lily into a set of clean, dry, and comfortable clothes, perhaps her favorite soft pajamas. Then, Lily sought out her cozy, familiar bed, maybe her little crib, or a warm corner somewhere. She curled up, perhaps hugging a small teddy bear, her big round eyes slowly closing, and quickly drifted off into a sound, peaceful afternoon nap, concluding a busy morning filled with joy, memorable experiences, and valuable lessons beside her ever-loving and patient father. Lily's sleep would surely be deep and serene, recharging her energy for new adventures in the afternoon.
Thôi quá, để lát ba đi giặt nhé. Này, giặt cái áo này, bẩn này. Thấy chưa? Thấy không? Này, bẩn hết áo rồi, em. Thấy chưa? Đó. Sao này, cẩn thận nhé. Rồi, một cầm cho Ly nào. Ê, ngược rồi, đây mới đúng chứ. Đúng rồi, thả cái này vô. Cái này nữa. Rồi, đúng rồi. Chữ quần lại tí này. Rồi, đẹp rồi. Chào mọi người đi. Con chào đi.
One afternoon, as the golden rays of the summer sun had softened their intensity, and the air had become milder and more pleasant. Little monkey, Lily, dressed in an adorable green outfit, seemed to have been prepared by Dad for a new and exciting adventure. What was particularly noticeable from the start was that Lily was carrying a small plastic fishing tackle box, brightly colored, looking every bit the part of a true professional angler. Even though the box was perhaps a little oversized for her small frame, Lily clutched the box tightly, her expression full of importance and eagerness, as if it contained a whole trove of secret treasures.
Đây nè. Đúng rồi. Câu cá ha. Rồi đi nào. Đi. Đi cà phê cô gái nhé.
Father and daughter began their journey, leaving their familiar home behind. They walked together along a small, winding country path that led towards a lake probably not too far from their house. On both sides of the path, tall ancient trees reached for the sky, their lush green leaves rustling in the gentle breeze, creating cool, shady patches. Lily was visibly thrilled and energetic.
Yeah.
At times, she would toddle ahead on her own, her small feet nimbly exploring every tuft of grass, every stone along the way, her mouth constantly emitting cheerful cheep-cheep sounds. Lily's bright, intelligent eyes darted around, observing everything with boundless curiosity, from the colorful butterflies fluttering erratically to the tiny dragonflies gliding lightly over the leaves. Then there were stretches of the path that were a bit rough, or perhaps when Lily's little legs grew tired, Dad would gently pick her up and carry her in his arms, allowing Lily to rest a bit and view the scenery from a new, higher perspective. Lily snuggled into Dad's embrace, feeling his warmth and security while still not forgetting to point and chatter excitedly about the interesting things she saw along the way. Finally, father and daughter arrived at the bank of the tranquil lake. The water surface was as calm and smooth as a giant mirror, reflecting the clear blue sky and the soft, fluffy white clouds drifting lazily by. The air here was so fresh and quiet, with only the sound of the wind sighing through the reeds along the shore and the occasional splash of a fish far out on the water. Dad chose a shady spot to sit under a large tree, then began the task of preparing the fishing rod. Surprisingly and delightfully, today's fishing rod was rather simply and creatively fashioned from a sturdy, straight tree branch that Dad had just found nearby, along with a length of fishing line and a hook taken from the tackle box Lily had carried. Dad skillfully used a knife to whittle the branch smooth, then carefully tied one end of the fishing line to the tip of the branch and the other end to a tiny, sharp fishing hook. Lily sat neatly beside him, her round eyes intently observing Dad's every movement, appearing extremely interested and curious. Occasionally, she would reach out her hand to gently touch the makeshift fishing rod or play with the coil of fishing line, as if trying to understand how it all worked. When the special fishing rod was ready, Dad took out a small piece of bread from his pocket. Perhaps this was the favorite bait of the fish in this lake. He broke off a small piece of bread, then carefully rolled it into a small firm ball, perfectly sized to be threaded onto the hook. The aroma of the bread floated gently in the air.
Cá phải ngồi chờ nhé đi nhé. Kiên nhẫn nhé. Không vội đâu.
Afterwards, Dad and Lily held the fishing rod together. Dad graciously allowed Lily to hold the main part of the rod, feeling the slight vibration as the tip touched the water. Her tiny hands gripped the branch, her expression full of concentration and seriousness, like a true angler, awaiting the moment a fish would bite. Dad sat close beside her, one hand lightly resting on the upper part of the rod, to adjust and assist Lily when needed the other arm protectively around his little daughter, creating a truly warm and intimate picture. Father and daughter patiently waited together, their eyes fixed on the calm surface of the lake where the bait was slowly sinking.
Ly đĩ nha, cái phao nha. Cái phao giật kìa. Ly kìa. Nhanh. Giật Ly kìa.
The lake surface was serene, occasionally rippled by gentle concentric circles as a light breeze passed over. Time seemed to pass very slowly, and then after a period of waiting in silence and hope, the miracle happened. The tip of the fishing rod in Lily's hand twitched slightly, then suddenly jerked down sharply. Dad quickly grasped the rod, feeling the weight and resistance from under the water. With his experience, he skillfully and slowly pulled the fishing line up. And there it was, a small fish, its body shimmering silver in the sunlight, was caught on the hook and struggling at the end of the line.
Bay thôi. Để lại mồi nhé. Để mồi đi ơi. Ăn mất cái đuôi đi này, thấy không? Mất cái đuôi rồi, thấy chưa? Lại nào. Đấy. Kìa, giật kìa.
Lily was visibly very surprised and thrilled to see the first catch of their fishing trip. Her eyes widened round and unblinking, staring intently at the fish still wriggling vigorously. Dad carefully unhooked the fish, cupped it in his palm, and brought it closer for Lily to see. She curiously approached her tiny hands, hesitantly reaching out, wanting to touch the fish's slippery, scaly body.
Được.
Perhaps this was the first time in her life Lily had seen a live fish so close and so clearly.
Thấy rõ không?
Curiosity and a touch of gentle wonder shone in Lily's clear eyes as she observed every movement of the tiny creature. There was no sign of fear, only the pure fascination of a child discovering something new and wondrous.
Thấy không? Đau đấy, đau đấy. Muốn đau, đau hả? Con cá đau hả? Giờ ta thả con cá đi nhé. Nhé. Thả cá đi nhé. Nhé. Giờ bà thả đi nhé. Rồi bà thả nó đi nhé. Tụi nó ha. Bye ăn cá nhé. Bye bye.
After their exciting and surprising fishing trip, with the trophy being the small fish, perhaps Dad decided to release it back into the lake after letting Lily observe it, or took it home for their aquarium father and daughter, packed up their gear, and returned home together. Lily seemed a bit thirsty after the journey and the moments of excitement by the fishing lake. Upon arriving home, Dad had thoughtfully taken out a cool bottle of filtered water for her. Lily happily took the bottle using a straw to drink the refreshing water with gusto, quenching her thirst and regaining her energy.
Hello everyone, eating ornaments.
At this time in the bright and tidy kitchen, Mom, a gentlewoman, perhaps Dad's wife, or another beloved family member, was busy preparing a very fresh and appealing salad for an upcoming meal. Colorful vegetables, crisp green lettuce, ripe red tomatoes, crunchy sweet cucumbers had been washed and were laid out on the cutting board. Lily, after having quenched her thirst, quickly ran into the kitchen, attracted by the fresh colors and Mom's activity. She stood beside the kitchen counter, her round eyes curiously observing Mom's every skillful movement. Seeing Lily seemed very eager to participate, Mom smiled and gave her an important but very manageable task to fetch a few more tomatoes from the charming little yellow mini refrigerator that was usually kept in the kitchen corner. Lily appeared extremely proud and delighted to be entrusted by Mom. She quickly ran to the mini fridge, used all her strength to pull open the door, then carefully selected the ripest, reddest, most succulent tomatoes. Afterwards, she solemnly carried these tomatoes and placed them into Mom's vegetable basket, as if she had just completed a very significant task.
Well done, Lily. Lily, you should clap it. Lily, come here. Sit here, please.
While Mom used a knife to slice the cucumbers into thin, even rounds, and then quartered the tomatoes into bite-sized pieces, Lily stood right beside her, her eyes never leaving the process. Occasionally, Mom would gently take a slice of crunchy, sweet cucumber or a tender, fresh lettuce leaf and offer it to Lily to taste test beforehand.
You want to eat?
Lily happily accepted munching on the fresh vegetables with great enjoyment, the cool crispness seeming to further awaken her taste buds.
Lily, can you try? How do you eat that? Yummy, right?
Mom continued her work, placing all the sliced vegetables into a large salad bowl, then gently tossing them together. Finally, Mom took out a bottle of creamy, rich white mayonnaise and drizzled it evenly over the salad. A colorful, fresh, and incredibly nutritious salad was completed, ready for the meal.
Lily, sit it for me. Now I will make for you. Are you okay? Lily, look delicious, right?
And of course, in this meal, Lily also had her own special portion of salad. Mom had thoughtfully prepared a pretty little plate for Lily, containing finely diced pieces of cucumber and tomato, perfectly sized for her little mouth, along with a few tender lettuce leaves. Lily was given a small fork, the kind specially designed for children. Then she, imitating the adults, used her fork to pick up small pieces of salad, slowly bringing them to her mouth and enjoying them. Meanwhile, Mom also sat beside her, leisurely enjoying her own portion of salad. The afternoon meal, though simple with its light and healthy salad, was filled with a warm, cozy atmosphere and the sweet joy of family sharing. Lily, after an afternoon filled with diverse activities from fishing with Dad to helping Mom in the kitchen, had probably had a very rich and memorable experience, learning many new things about the world around her and fully feeling the love of her family.
Lily, you should eat vegetable. It's good for your health. Let's eat. So good.
Đây, đây ngồi coi. Đây này. Lắm, đúng rồi.
One afternoon,
Rồi, được rồi,
when
chị
the
cho tí nha.
brilliant golden
Đây, đây,
rays
đây.
of the summer sun
Đó,
had begun to
ok
soften
rồi.
their intensity, giving way to gentle breezes carrying a hint of coolness, little monkey Lily was once again being prepared by Dad for a promising and exciting outing. Today, Lily looked particularly dainty and prominent, like a little princess ready to attend an outdoor party. Dad had lovingly dressed her in a charming frilly pink dress made of soft fabric, perhaps adorned with a few cute little floral details. And to ensure absolute safety for his little princess, throughout their journey, Dad also carefully placed a well-fitting blue helmet on Lily's head, complete with a secure chin strap. Lily seemed very pleased with this new outfit. She twirled around, admiring herself in a small mirror. After all preparations were complete, Lily was gently placed by Dad into the sturdy bicycle basket mounted at the front. The basket was lined with a soft cushion, ensuring Lily could sit comfortably and safely. Dad slowly began to pedal, taking Lily away from their familiar home, embarking on a journey of discovery. Lily sat obediently in the basket, her big round dark eyes eagerly observing everything around her. She seemed to thoroughly enjoy being in the basket, feeling the cool afternoon breeze gently ruffling her pink dress and the soft fur on her head, and watching the scenery on both sides of the road slowly change. The bicycle rolled steadily, taking father and daughter along peaceful village paths, perhaps unpaved red earth roads winding through the countryside, or small pathways shaded by green bamboo groves. Their destination today was a vast tomato field, an expanse filled with the green of leaves and the enticing red of ripe, juicy tomatoes. Upon arrival, Dad stopped, carefully propped the bicycle by the roadside, then gently lifted Lily out of the basket. Together, father and daughter walked into the middle of the straight, lush green rows of tomato plants. The tomato plants at this time were heavily laden with fruit, clusters of ripe, plump, glossy red tomatoes hanging heavily under the afternoon sun looked truly appealing and delicious. Lily was visibly very excited to assist Dad in this harvesting task. She toddled back and forth between the rows of tomatoes, her bright, intelligent eyes constantly searching for the ripest, reddest, and biggest tomatoes. Occasionally, upon spotting a desirable cluster of fruit, Lily would let out soft, joyful, cheep, cheep sounds, then use her small but nimble hands to gently pick each tomato, carefully handing it to Dad to put into the large basket he carried. Some tomatoes were a bit high up, and Lily had to stand on her tiptoes, stretching her body as much as possible to reach them, looking utterly adorable.
Wow, ta xem nào. Này ngon nhỉ. Rồi hơi dơ hết đất rồi này. Thấy không? Còn quả cái bắt nốt đi. Hái nốt đi không? Đây nào. Đây đi. Đi không đi hái tiếp. Hái con. Hái đi con, mang bỏ đồ nào. Rồi, cảm ơn Ly, kia nữa kìa con. Kia thì hái con. Hái trên cao ấy. Đó. Đây Ly. Hết chưa? Đi về nhá. Còn quả nữa kìa. Thôi đi về nào. Con cầm đi. Cầm vào đó đi. Cầm. Đây đây. Đây chưa? Đó. Sao không? Từ, bẩn đấy. Cái này về rửa
After
nhá.
a period of diligent labor, Dad's basket was overflowing with fresh, delicious tomatoes, the result of the excellent teamwork between father and daughter. The sun had also begun to dip lower in the sky, signaling that it was time to return. Dad and Lily together carried the basket of tomatoes to the bicycle. Lily, once again, settled into her familiar front basket, perhaps feeling very happy and proud of the spoils she had helped harvest. Dad resumed his journey, pedaling to take Lily home. unexpected incident occurred. While the bicycle was gliding smoothly along the road, suddenly, Dad's bicycle chain broke and slipped off the gears. This unexpected mishap caused the bicycle to lose balance, and both Dad and Lily had a minor surprising fall onto the soft, grassy verge by the roadside. Fortunately, because Dad wasn't going too fast and the verge was covered in thick grass, neither of them was injured. Lily seemed a little startled after the sudden fall, her round eyes looking at Dad with some concern, but Dad quickly reassured her with gentle words and a comforting embrace. Dad began the task of repairing the bicycle. He turned the bicycle upside down, then carefully examined the slipped chain. While Dad was busy grappling with repair tools and the oily chain, Lily didn't sit idly by. The ripe red tomatoes in the basket had tumbled out during the fall, scattering everywhere. With commendable quickness and awareness, Lily actively assisted Dad by picking up each tomato one by one, carefully wiping off any dirt, then placing them back into the basket, trying not to miss a single one. This small but very responsible act from Lily made Dad feel very pleased and warmed his heart, making him forget all about the recent incident.
Ui, rồi cảm ơn Ly nhé. Cảm ơn con. Đi về nào. Anh à. Về bác sửa lại xe nhé. Xe hư quá rồi. Wow. Con sang hả? Sao? Thắng xe nó hư quá rồi. Bây giờ đi sửa nhé. Chắc về đi sửa ha.
When the bicycle was finally repaired, after some effort, father and daughter resumed their journey home. Perhaps Dad pedaled a bit more carefully this time. Upon arriving at their familiar yard, the first thing Dad did was to take the basket of tomatoes into the kitchen, then carefully wash each one under cool running water, removing all dust and any bruises, if any, from the fall. Afterwards, Dad and Lily embarked on making a wonderful and nutritious refreshment from these very fresh tomatoes, pure homemade tomato juice. Lily was visibly very curious and thrilled to watch Dad feed the clean tomatoes into the juicer. Then she watched with delight as a stream of bright red, smooth tomato juice slowly flowed out from the machine's spout, carrying the characteristic fresh aroma of ripe tomatoes.
Đúng rồi đây. Đúng rồi. Thấy nhá. Nhìn máy nhá. Nhìn cái tay nhá. Rồi. Bây giờ là mình cắt cái cây này. Đưa đi ba cái cây này. Lấy cái cây đi. Lấy đây đi. Đúng rồi. Trời ơi, chín rồi. Rồi. Được không? Nè, xong rồi nhá, mình bỏ cái này đi này. Này, cầm này. Bỏ đây này. Đó, thấy không? Thấy không? Nó cầm thử đi. Bỏ đây. Giỏi lắm, đúng rồi. Cầm đi. Bỏ. Bỏ đây chứ, đúng rồi. Nữa. À, đúng rồi, giỏi lắm. Gì vậy? Chị Ly. Nè. Gì vậy? Gì vậy? Bỏ đi, nè, cầm bỏ đi, cầm. Cầm đây. Bỏ. Bỏ. Giỏi lắm. Rồi, hết rồi. Được rồi.
After preparing a glass of delicious, nutritious, and appealingly colored tomato juice, Dad prioritized letting Lily enjoy it first. She took the small glass with both hands, then slowly sipped, savoring each mouthful. The clean, sweet taste mixed with a characteristic slight tartness of fresh, pure tomato juice seemed to wash away all the fatigue from their trip and the minor incident earlier. Lily drank with relish, her cute little lips stained a little red from the juice looking utterly adorable. Having finished her energizing glass of tomato juice, Dad and Lily went out together to the backyard, where a shady tree provided a cool respite to continue their afternoon play. Dad decided to give Lily another even more exciting surprise, an effective way to cool off from the lingering heat of the summer day.
Lấy mũ đi. Sai rồi. Đây rồi. Thèm quá hả? Rồi. Từ từ uống nha.
Dad took out a small inflatable pool, the kind designed for children, perhaps Lily's favorite toy. Dad used a pump to inflate the pool until it was firm, then slowly filled it with cool, fresh water. A charming, safe, and very inviting mini swimming pool was now ready for Lily to enjoy to her heart's content.
Đây nha, con pha nước cho đi tắm nha. Tắm đấy. Em cầm khăn của con đi. Đây lên này. Được rồi, đi này, đây đi. Từ từ đồ đi nhá. Trời ơi. Đây nha. Rồi đi tắm nha. Đây là lần tiên thấy chắc sợ nhỉ.
Dad gently removed Lily's dainty pink dress so she could be more comfortable in the water. Then he slowly helped her step into the inflatable pool. Lily seemed extremely delighted and thrilled to be immersed in the cool water. She used her hands to splash and play, creating small ripples. Dad began to bathe Lily, using a soft cloth and gentle child-friendly soap, lightly scrubbing her fur, removing any dust from their outing. Lily joyfully played with the water droplets, occasionally trying to splash water at Dad, creating cheerful, tinkling giggles that echoed throughout the yard.
Thấy chưa? Mát mà. Đúng không? Nghe. Đấy. Được không? Đây nè. Ui ơi. Nó lục lại. Ô. Nè. Đây nè. Nè. Bơi này. Đấy, thì bơi nha. Nè, bơi này. Đúng rồi, bơi này. Đúng rồi, giỏi lắm. Đúng rồi. Nè, bên đây. Đúng rồi, giỏi á. Bên đây nè. Bơi đi. Đây đi. Đấy. Đúng rồi, giỏi lắm. Bên kia nữa. Đúng rồi, giỏi. Đây. Đúng rồi. Kia. Anh kia. Đây này, đây đi. Bơi sang. Bơi chứ. Đúng rồi, bơi này. Bơi, đúng rồi. Đây. Đúng rồi. Quay lại đây nhá, sang bơi bên kia nhá. Đúng rồi. Đúng rồi, đứng đây nhá. Xà bông nha. Lạnh lắm không? Lạnh không? Lạnh bảo nhá.
Đúng rồi. Ở đây này. Ui trời. Được không? Được không? Ở đâu? Rồi. Xem trên nào. Trên đây nữa. Rồi Lily. Bơi đi con. Đúng rồi, bơi qua đây. Đúng rồi, giỏi lắm. Hụt cái nữa. Ui trời. Đúng rồi, qua đây. Giỏi lắm, đúng rồi, đi giỏi quá. Biết bơi rồi đấy không? Đấy, muốn mà hôn biết bơi đúng không? Giỏi quá, nhanh vào không mạnh nhé. Ra ngoài con. Đây này. Ăn đi con. Đúng rồi, đến đâu? Con tới đâu? Mạnh không?
When the cool bath and water play session concluded, Lily was gently lifted out of the pool by Dad. Dad used a large, soft, and highly absorbent cotton towel to carefully wrap around Lily, then gently dried every bit of her from head to toe, not missing a single spot. The little monkey snuggled into Dad's embrace, feeling warm, safe, and well cared for. Perhaps Lily was pleasantly tired after an afternoon filled with so many fun and memorable activities, from the challenging tomato picking trip to making juice, and finally a delightful cool bath. It was truly a perfect end to a memorable adventure.
Đây Lia. Đây.